extension.
Were you from
Then-
Worcester originally?
Yeah, or you.
No, I grew up in Central New
Well,
York.
see, there doesn't really say, you could write abstain or AB. for
Many years in the Navy, going up and down the East
There's
Coast.
extension.
My last active
Which
duty
happens
assignment was
once
teaching at the
in a while.
University of Rochester.
Or you could go down
Back in
on any of the.
85. Yep.
Yeah.
I think he's done it that way too.
Yeah. Good place.
Oh, no.
Not bad.
Josie's here for about.
As I get older, I shouldn't speak for everyone.
Okay, so I guess I could have put a
Less,
line.
more and
through
more
this.
objections.
Of course, the entry and Florida,
Your lovelier place.
and that's why I marked down. I should have done it for about Franklin too. And then I didn't want
Slowly
to- gonna be
expanding.
Zoom, so I just put a big Z and circle it, so I don't miss it. Then I put that in the next for the next meeting.
Okay.
Are you guys all set with the? Okay, so I think we're ready to go.
Cool. Okay, so Zoom's good. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the October meeting of the Monroe Planning Board. Recording is now in progress and the meeting is commenced. Perfect. All right, let's do, let's see, we've got one member on Zoom, Mr. Varley. But we'll do.
Yes, I am here.
Present. Got you down. Bill Santos is absent today. Hope Bill feels better soon. Mike Wiedemer, I am present. Sam Trapani. Andrew Hollister. Orlando Rivera.
Here.
Dave Watson.
Here.
Andre Evans.
Here.
George Hebert.
Here.
Rachel Barnhart.
Here.
Jeff McCann. Adrienne Green is here for Mr. McCann. Amy Grower is not here. Her alternate Laura Smith is here. Josie, you're filling in for Mr. Franklin.
Yeah.
Richard Tantalo.
Here.
Christina Doherty. Mike Garland. Sean Murphy.
Here.
Okay. Any announcements or communications from members of the board or staff? All right. Sorry, we took that out of order. Hopefully everyone had a moment to look at the meeting minutes from our last meeting, which was on Thursday, August 24th, 2023. It was in the agenda packet. Any need for additions or edits or changes to the minutes? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Seconded by George.
Who did we get for first? Orlando? Andre, I'm
Andre,
sorry.
and then George for a second.
Exactly. Call the draw.
Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. We have 3 action items and I think 3 presentations. So the first action item is a request from the Parks Department to amend the 2023-2028 capital improvement program and the 2023 capital budget to add a project entitled, quote, Henrietta County Park Master Plan Improvements. And for that presentation, we're going to hear.
Here from the Parks Department.
Hello,
Go Bills.
Good afternoon.
the floor is yours.
I think we have a quick PowerPoint. It will be short. Thanks for the introduction. Thanks for the opportunity, of course. So the request here is to amend the current CIP to allow for a $30,000 master plan for a future county park. A quick map here representing the boundaries of the parcels that were combined. County survey provided significant assistance here for that process and survey to remove some areas that the town of Henrietta were needed to retain. To step one layer back here, this property, these properties, I should say, are currently owned by the town of Henrietta, and ultimately we have been working with the town to transfer the ownership of a little over 70 acres of these properties for a future county park. As you can see in the map, the Lehigh Valley Trail is the lineal parcel boundary that kind of bisects from the top of the page to the bottom. And thus, the 70+ acres would be future county parkland. Before we truly move forward with any improvements, first, a master plan is necessary. This would engage stakeholders at Chatwood Lane to the north, stakeholders to the subdivision to the south, stakeholders at the town itself, and then ultimately, really the general constituency throughout the county of Monroe. Our Parks Advisory Committee has been very much plugged into this whole process, which has been over a year in the making, as well as the Genesee Regional Off-Road Cycling folks, other user groups, Audubon, Sierra Club, etc. So we'd like to really engage really all users, potential users of this park, to have a better understanding of kind of where it's going to lead us. And ultimately, that's what this project would do, funds that master planning process for us to obtain a consultant to move the county through that process.
Is there a reason the parking lot in the southwest, or at least the lower left corner of that is highlighted?
I believe if you maybe the next next slide, might be a little bit. It's difficult. This is a 34 by 44 picture. I did print off a couple of hard copies if folks wanted it to be able to better see it. So legislative might be a better way to take a look at it.
Well, is the parking lot included in what the heck it is?
There is no parking lot included within this property. All of the lands to be conveyed to the county are just fallow lands. That's what I think. So improvements, maybe some minor trails that have been long
Those
abandoned.
are houses.
Yeah.
Those are
It's
houses.
just the
Got
lines
it.
are so
They're not apartments,
close to-
Yep.
The gym.
like cars from here. Got it.
How often does this happen where a town has land that it transfers to the county?
It's the first time for myself. Trying to think historically here. This has occurred in the past. No.
And there's no monetary value that changes?
There is no, it's a $1, but there is no monetary.
Was this something that the county approached Henrietta for, or the other way around?
Other way around, Henrietta.
Do you know why?
They wanted a county park in their town, more than just the Lehigh Valley Trail through it. So,
Create more green space.
Other questions?
Mike, I'll ask the same ones I asked the committees in Ledge, just so people
Yeah,
hear.
yeah.
Laura, I asked you about if we concur with the seeker. You gave a good answer, but they might need to hear it too.
The town of Henrietta conducted a coordinated review pursuant to seeker. So we were not the lead agency. We don't actually opine on the efficacy of their seeker, but we did review it and we're in agreement with their findings.
And then my other questions were, are there any hazardous material or environmental issues of any kind with this property?
Not known. We did do a phase 1 environmental day engineering was the firms that conducted that assessment, and there were no environmental hazards on either of these.
But they do that on our behalf or on behalf of Henrietta?
They did that on our behalf.
Is there any estimate of the investment the county would have to make to implement the vision stated?
There isn't a known estimate. Really, the master planning process will drive what those investments could be. The timing for when those investments occur, again, something at the county's discretion. However, the intent of this park is a passive park. As you can see, the vast majority of it is wooded. There's some streams through there. There's a bunch of federal and state wetlands. within that wooded area. And there's one field to the north by east, which has a significant grade to it. So there isn't an intended intense use of baseball, soccer fields, etc. The intent is more of a passive park. But again, what that passive recreational lands will be used for will be driven by this master planning process.
You just said federal and state lands are,
Wetlands.
so that just sets off a whole nother set of alarm bells for me, in that there's all kinds of regulations associated with federal wetlands in particular. I don't even know what the state adds to it, but we have any concerns there? I mean, they might keep us from doing things that the group that does the master plan wants to do, but
Sure.
how do we ring that? You know,
Keep the
Yeah,
cost down.
no, it's a fair
You'll
question.
keep the cost down. I mean,
maybe.
currently, well, I guess my point is, doesn't the county currently have passive parks?
Absolutely. And the
Yeah.
vast majority of our golf courses are in low-lying wetland areas too. And you're 100% correct, right? When you have a wetland in some areas, they have criteria for what you can and cannot do within those areas. Again, given that passive intent here, the vast majority of that wooded area would be, one could assume, nature trails, to which we would want to engage with DEC about how they would be constructed if they were already existing or future uses there. But to Sean's point, the master plan kind of takes all of that into consideration.
And then you guys owe me a list of best guess of in-kind donations that were specified in the referral.
What's that?
In the referral that came for the legislative committees, there is a statement around, and there were, in addition to the 30K, there are in-kind donations. That's all it said. The answer at committees, and don't let me put words in your mouth, was effectively, we don't know what they are, and I asked them if they could have some, their best guesstimate for us before we go to full ledge in a couple, 3 weeks.
Who are the in-kind donors?
Staff time.
Yeah, I think donations is the wrong word, in-kind services or in-kind effort, right?
Probably said services, don't remember.
Usually you do in-kind, if you get a grant, it implies you need to have in-kind services associated with it. So it's probably better to say, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, it's not necessarily an in-kind service, but it's the cost of doing business, right?
Mhm.
So it's not like you're providing a responsibility to meet another obligation, you're just doing work to perform something here. So in kind, I don't know, it may not have been the right term to use necessarily, because you're not getting a grant for this, right?
It's not, it's the
Yeah.
planning, it's the.
It's the level of effort that needs to be expended to get something done.
And
That's-
the reason I asked about parks and that question about the park in specific is it could conceivably include a bunch of use of our equipments, depending on what comes out of the master plan, right?
Right.
So that's why I was asking.
And I guess my comment on the cost was let me know if I'm right on this, the assumption that if it's a passive park, over time, it's less costly to maintain versus your parks that have a lot of recreational fields and other services. Is that true? Is that a fair assumption? Other questions? Okay. Okay, so we're looking for a motion to take the specific action that's requested here, which is to amend the 2023-2028 capital improvement program and 2023 capital budget to add a project entitled Henrietta County Park Master Plan Improvements and the specific dollar amount of $30,000. Can I have a motion for that? We'll do the second with Robert Farley. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, you guys back for round two? Round two. Well, I'll let you introduce it.
So the second request of this afternoon is similar. It's the modification of the CIP to include a new project for the 9/11 first responder memorial at Highland Park. I included a map just for a general idea of where the memorial will be located. As you can see, Highland Park is, the larger parcels kind of to the center left. The reservoir to the top right where the cursor is. The red circle is the general location of the future 9/11 first responders memorial. And there's a second, maybe the second page might be a little bit kind of, oh, there it is. So you can see within, Highland Park there, that's the corner of South and Highland. This location was identified in some of the early kind of discussions as just to the north, at the very top of the screen, is the local fire hall. And thus the memorial would be in direct line of sight of that fire station. The last slide here just is the initial rendering, kind of a concept. We really don't and have not moved through really concept design at this time. So this is just a very early generic thought process of 2 towers, approximately 11 foot tall, and a triangle representing a folded flag at 9 foot tall. These are concepts by which we'll give to an engineering firm. Once this process kicks off, that engineering firm will start to take some of the input from the committee, if you will, the citizens that are part of this, as well as capital staff. So the sum of this is a $250,000 grant from the Dormitory Authority through Assemblymember Bronson. Thus, the request here is to modify the CIP in that sum for the totality of this project.
Does this connect to the global warming war at all, or how far is it?
You can go back 2 slides. It's tough. They're in the same park. They're not directly connected. The Vietnam and the War on Terror are to the center of the park, a bit lower, a little lower. Yeah, it's tough.
Is there plans to connect trail to the 3?
It will connect. There are a variety of different walking paths through there. So the park is, Highland Park is kind of a memorial park. War on Terror, Vietnam, AIDS, workers' right. Thank you. Once the building, correct. It's kind of become the memorial park, if you will. So there will be that interconnectivity, if you will, Andre, but it won't. It's not directly next to the War on Terror. And again, I think that the site of the local fire station was important.
How was the citizens committee formed?
Assembly member, I guess the idea, in my eyes, or as I understand it, was in discussion with International Association of Firefighters, with some other tradesmen that kind of came with this concept. And thus those entities, those persons have kind of been still driving part of those discussions.
Other questions or discussion? All right, hearing none. Again, the specific action requested before the planning board is to amend the 2023-2028 capital improvement program and 2023 capital budget to add a project entitled Construction of a 9/11 First Responders Memorial at Highland Park in the dollar amount of $250,000. Can I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Moved by Andre, second. Second, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Was it Rich? that gave the second?
Rich did the second, yeah.
Very entertaining.
All right. The third action item on today's agenda is to amend the 2023-2028 CIP and 2023 capital budget to add a project entitled Aldrich Road Sidewalks. And we've got the Department of Transportation here for a presentation.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. This originally started off as a culvert project. And as part of that project, the town had approached us and said that in the future, they wanted to install sidewalk. So we were going to enter into an IMA with the town to make the culvert wider than it needed to be for a future sidewalk. During this process, we also were going to, how do I say this? The town showed an interest in wanting to provide some sort of pedestrian accommodations, whether it was a wider shoulder, future sidewalks, whatever. So we were in process of working with them on that. And then the administration came up with this $10 million fund to, active transportation plan to promote installation of sidewalks on projects. So as part of that, we reached out to the town. They were very interested in it. So we tried to incorporate it as part of the culvert project, but because of the funding source, we couldn't add it to the funds because it's borrowed money versus cash capital. So what we had to do is we had to create a separate sidewalk project separate from the culvert. So basically we're going to be installing sidewalk on Aldrich Road from Aldrich Glen, which is about 1 block north of Route 31. And the sidewalk is going to go all the way to the north to Herald, which is where that 90-degree bend is. 5-foot wide sidewalk. For the most part, it's primarily going to be on the east side of the road, but there are a couple of locations where there's either a house very close to the road or steep embankment where we are going to have to cross them over to the west side.
Question, will this facilitate bicycle traffic or bicycle lane or connecting any alternative transportation lanes?
It will not, as part of this project, is exclusively for the sidewalks. In addition to the culvert project and the sidewalk project, we also have a highway maintenance project we're doing next year where we do plan to widen the shoulders a little bit. And that's going to be more for the bicycles.
How long in total is the sidewalk being like? Up distance?
I have the exact distance, maybe like a mile. I'm not sure if I have the exact distance. It's 4,975 feet. So maybe not quite a mile.
Now, given the sidewalk, you're mentioning that there's some deep areas that may have to go across the street for the sidewalk to continue.
Yes.
Will there be crossings or indications for pedestrians regarding that?
Probably, I would think probably a crosswalk, yes.
There's something visual
Yes.
that people know that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't think it's reflected in these plans yet, but we're actually currently designing it.
okay,
Well, actually, I can't even say that.
I'm sure there's probably a state standard that has to happen.
Yeah, so what I need to do is, once we get the money problem solved, then I can give it to the design. We can then have the designers design it. Then we can put it out to bid, get the contractor on board, go through the ledge referral, go through contact HQ, and then try to build it by next year. So we have a lot of steps going on here that we're trying to get through.
Thanks.
It was $1 coming on this, right? Something like 1.18 or something.
$1.3 million is
1.3.
the cost of the sidewalk, and the town's paying half and we're paying.
And again, the half, that's the county portion, is a reappropriation from the fund balance and tied to resolution 197.
The $10 million fund, yes.
Okay, any other questions or discussion? So the specific action requested of the Monroe County Planning Board is to amend the 2023-2028 CIP and 2023 capital budget to add a project entitled Aldrich Road Sidewalks for the dollar amount of 1.3 million. Is there a motion to approve that amendment?
So move.
George, second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Any other business for today's meeting?
I have some other business. I would like to share with everyone that after 31 years with Monroe County, Kim is retiring next month.
Happy retirement, Kim.
Yeah, Kim has been an integral part of this board for a number of years now and really keeps us on track. I know Shen and I can both attest to how much we're going to miss her. Kim, did you want to say a few things?
I just wanted to let you all know how much I appreciate having been a part of this board, and I've learned a lot. It's always interesting to hear the questions people have, but it's been a really, really good learning experience. So I'm sure whoever fills my shoes will find it, I hopefully find it just as interesting as I have. And I appreciate Mike's help when I don't always catch who's making the motion, and the same with Bill Santos. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to be here today, so I'll have to shoot him an email to let him know I'm retiring, but it's been a pleasure. So I just want to thank everybody.
Thank you. 3 decades, yeah.
Yeah.
We live in a wonderful community, and there's so much that goes on to make that be a reality, and it's people like you that are involved in county government and town
Thank
government,
you.
city government,
Thank
so
you.
thank you for 31 years.
It's been very eye-opening. I mean, I started in the clerk's office and then I was at probation for the longest time, 19 years there. And under Bob Burns and what's that? Yeah, everybody, yeah, he was there a long time. And then a couple years over at DHS and almost 7 years here with county planning. And it's just been such an eye-opening experience. I never would have guessed all the things that went on in government and all the hard work that people put into it. People just in the general public, unless you're a part of county government or any municipal government in general, I don't think people can really grasp the amount of work it really takes to keep the county running and to accomplish the things that the county works for to accomplish, and how dedicated people really are and how much interest they really have in the community that they're serving. I don't think people can really grasp that. You know, I in the past, I used to hear comments about county government and now I can just say, well, let me educate you a little bit.
Keep speaking up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a great experience. It's even hard for me to believe it's been 31 years already.
Thank you. A lot's changed, right?
Oh, yeah, a lot, yep.
They'll come in though, right? It's a open door meeting and we'll see you next month.
Oh, yeah. Then I can ask questions too.
Do you remember your first day well?
No, I guess I don't.
Well, thank you so much for your time and service spent, and of course, all the work with this committee.
You're welcome.
So, thank you. Cheers, what's next?
I'll be looking for a part-time job. So cheers to that. Hopefully I enjoy it just as much and find it equally educational.
Your impact is only from the airport to the zoo, so.
Absolutely. All right, anything else for today? Thank you for doing that, Michelle. Okay, let's see, next meeting is November 16th. That's Thursday at 3:30 here in City Place. And with that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Second. Okay, all those in favor of adjourning for the day?
Thanks, everyone.